Cool. So first, if you can just tell me your name and what you do.
My name is Roy Harris, and I'm a resident of the neighborhood that we're in right now, which is we affectionately call the South Side neighborhood. And the reason it's called the South Side neighborhood because there used to be a street that went basically from Biltmore Avenue all the way down to Green's Mini Market, and it was called South Side. And there was a thriving community and a thriving all kinds. South Side was probably, to me, it was like, if you look at it, it may have been the economic district, black economic district of Asheville versus what we a lot of times think of as the block. There was grocery stores, there was car shops, and there was beauty shops, and there was churches in the street. Basically, there's a creek that runs along here that runs all the way out to the South French Brook, and it ran along the creek. And there was families there and homes and everything. Sometimes people used to call it the Nasty Branch. And the reason it was called Nasty Branch back then is because sometimes raw sewage would empty right into the creek. And so I guess one of the urban renewal things was, let's get rid of that. And so, why are we going to get rid of that? Let's get rid of all these houses and all of that. So, like I said, it's still referred to as the South Side neighborhood. And it's coming back. Even though gentrification is knocking on its door and will knock on its door, I guess what we have to figure out is how do we fit in and all of this stuff. And this garden is a good example where we have students from UNCA here today and doing their thing, and some of them are freshmen, so I'm talking to them and saying, come back. Number one, come down off the hill over at UNCA, come to the neighborhoods, figure out where you got your education and all of that, so that you can always have a connection to this area. It makes it easier for you to come back later on, because if you have a connection, then you can come. I raised a family here in Asheville, and I have two daughters that are off, graduated from college 10, 12 years ago, and now they're off doing their thing. There's a center right back of us, which used to be called Reed Center, but now it's called Edenton Center, which is a career and education type center. And down the street, there's a center that's going to call Reverend Wesley Grant Center. And there's also a project coming up where we will put more recreation need types things in this neighborhood. So it's one way of helping to fight gentrification. If you just sit and watch it, and gentrification is going to run you over. But if you can now put some barriers up and say, no, not here, you can. But we want to make sure that the community gets something out of this whole process too. Southside Garden, as you can see, we have people out here working. My history with the garden started 46 years ago, when I basically looked at my father and said, no more, I'm gone. I'm not working in this garden anymore, I'm gone. And that was in a little small town in eastern North Carolina. So I basically went on to college and basically says, hey, we don't have another garden. But now I retired 3 years ago and kept looking at this place, and somebody started, Carolina, which is a UNCA student, started working in the garden, and I basically came over and was like, what are you doing? And she told me, and I was saying, oh, okay, well, I need a project to work on, and it's in my neighborhood, and I'm interested in it. So that's how I ended up being involved in the Southside Garden, into this whole area, like I said. Been here a little over 32 years, retired, and love my neighborhood. And I'm like a lion. I walk around the neighborhood all the time, and people say, well, you walk around the neighborhood. I say, I'm a lion. I try to protect it, look at it, and